Today, I'm going to talk about how to make $150,000 as a delivery driver and what it would look like in practicality. Is it possible? The answer is yes and no. So recently, a Doordash driver in America made the news for making over $100,000 in a year. I just want to run through in today's video how you can work out if you can make $150,000 per year in Australian dollar dues and what that would look like in practice. This dasher was working over in Hawaii and he said you can make a lot of money. You can make more than $100,000. It's all about what you want to make and it's all about you. Now he said he works 7 days a week between 12 to 20 hours a day to achieve that. Now 100,000 USD is around $150,000 dues. So let's find out if it's possible. The most important factor is going to come down to your market. And you need to work out what the average per hour earnings you can make in your market is. So let's say you earn $600 per week on average and you work 20 hours. 600 divided by 20 is 30, so that's $30 per hour. Now that's not active time, guys. This is total time logged into the app, including sitting around and waiting for orders. Because this is time that you are dedicating to delivery driving. So say if you are in a good market in Australia and your average is $35 dues per hour or 23 Uncle Sam's per hour for my American friends watching, you can forecast this out to see what it would take to earn $150,000 per year. Now working 52 weeks per year, you need to earn just under $2,900 per week to stay on track. Earning $35 per hour, that means you'll have to work 83 hours per week to hit that target, which is close to 12 hours per day, Monday to Sunday, every single week. Let's be a bit more realistic here. So let's adjust the good market down to factor in for some of the off weeks. But more importantly, I think if you're working long hours every day, some of the days and some of the hours just aren't going to be as busy as others. So let's cut 20% off and bring it to a more realistic earnings expectations. And this is probably going to sound a bit more right to the majority of drivers. Let's call it an average of $28 per hour. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, it might be a bit higher, but in those slow periods outside, it drags the average back down and we settle around 28 per hour or 18 Uncle Sam's per hour. Does that feel a bit more right? But if we are forecast now for what we need, again, of this adjusted per hour, we still need to make that $2,900 per week, so at $28 per hour, that means that you would need to put in 103 hours per week. And that's 14.5 hours per day. And this puts you up in those 100-hour in a week YouTube challenges, but unlike those YouTubers who will then spend the next few days sleeping in and editing the videos and finding memes and recording their narration, you are just gonna go straight back out there the next week, and then the week after that, and then the week after that. So let's hit the raw financials here on why it's a no. And the costs aren't talked about much across YouTube. So earning $150,000 a year is impressive, but once the costs come out, it starts to lose a little bit of its taste. So immediately we subtract out $13,600 for GST because you are earning over $75,000 per year. That is non-negotiable. Even though you are running your own business as a sole trader, you are your own business entity, you are not writing your own invoices to the gig companies to add that on top. So you're not adding on 10% GST on top of all your earnings like every other business in Australia does. So you eat that cost and lose the funds straight to the government. That is just over 1 month of your time driving over 100 hours per week gone instantly. Next, let's take out our immediate run cost, fuel. So to be conservative with the cost of fuel, if 15% of what you earn is spent on fuel to complete those deliveries, that's $22,500 in fuel per year. So we're already $36,000 off the table, but let's keep going. Now, on a very conservative estimate, we'll put in 200 kilometers per day onto your vehicle driving for 14.5 hours. Now that's 73,000 kilometers per year on your car. Now, if you service every 15,000 kilometers like you're supposed to, you're looking at 5 services per year and 1, if not 2 sets of tires with it and 7 wheel rotations to get the most out of them. and then you add an extra $1,000 for minor mechanical costs, and you're easily looking at an extra $5,000 in costs per year. Now, your car's insurance will be registered as business use, and you'll be indicating over 50,000 kilometers per year, which is the maximum option most insurers ask for on their quotes. You will be looking at minimum, call it 2,000 per year on this. And in your other costs and a bit of error ratio for things that might pop up, costs for now submitting, your quarterly business activity statements with an accountant, phone bill, replacing bags, all them little costs. Let's call us another 3,000 in costs as a reach. 3,000 as a reach in costs. So now we're down from 150,000 to 104,000. So let's apply tax now. So once again, I'm going to be realistic here. So the vast majority of people who would be doing this kind of gig work will not be contributing 11% to a superannuation fund. Sole traders, they're not obliged to contribute earnings to a super fund. Is setting money aside for your retirement a good idea? Of course. Would it be realistic to factor in here? No, because the majority just will not do it. So without super, we're going to be declaring out $104,000 to the Australian Taxation Office, who is going to be holding you up like Ned Kelly as you are paying $26,347 in tax. When all is said and done though, you are left with about $77,000 landed to your bank account. Well, let's call that about $1,500 per week. And to many, that might sound really good, but let's look at that lifestyle cost. So you have 24 hours in a day and 14.5 of those are now locked into delivery driving. That leaves you about, 9.5 left. Sleep will take 8 hours per day, and yeah, I know, some of you are like, yeah, I'll get by on like 5 or 6 hours per day. Yes, I know, so can I, but after a month, in doing 14.5 hours of work every day with no days off, you sure as shit are gonna be sleeping 8 hours a night. And this leaves you with 1.5 hours of time per day. And now take an hour of that for literally being a human, a toilet, shower, eating and brushing your teeth. Then you now have 30 minutes a day to spend however the fuck you want. And, and after first glance, someone will be like, yeah, fuck. Just get on the grind, fucking monk mode, baby. Let's make some fucking bread. I just want to touch base on the elephant in the room of how much damage doing something like this will actually do to your life. I wouldn't be surprised actually if I get a couple of nicks and stabs from this, but the vast majority of YouTubers in this space are not talking about this. So, all they want to do is they want to show off how much money they made on a ride along, or they just complain about their pay, or play a video of a customer and a dasher getting into a fight, and then they give their take on it. But I'm gonna get real, and yeah, I'm gonna say it. So delivery driving 7 days a week over 12 hours a day, it's not sustainable, and it will cause serious harm to your life. First and foremost, let's look at it this way. If you were on the road 10 times more than the average driver who just commutes to work and plods around, they go to the gym and do some shopping, or whatever the fuck they do with their lives, you are 10 times more at risk at being involved in an accident from your time on the road, let alone adding in the fatigue factor. And while you may be a good driver, you are 10 times more exposed to encountering a bad driver who does something stupid and gets you into an accident. Additionally, your social life will be hammered from this. You won't have any time to see friends or family. Your dating life is going to be non-existent. And if you do have a partner, how many months do you think they're going to stick around if you're just either working or sleeping? Relationships are time together, and 100 hours a week delivery driving is going to harm that relationship. Dr. Phil would probably say something like, oh, if you want to plant the acorn and see it grow, you can't be a mongoose running around with the cobras all day. Your mental health is going to deteriorate over time if you're just sitting in the car by yourself for months. That is isolating. It's an isolating environment, and it's going to take a toll. Just think about it. Talking to staff at a restaurant about an order, or have a great night, to a customer, that's not a conversation. That's not a real conversation. That's just being transactional sentences to another person to complete work. And you know what? There'll be research done in the future on the mental health damage these gig jobs have caused to drivers, especially to those who spend long periods alone month after month, And I'm not saying it's you watching this who this will happen to, but if you want to get a glimpse of how disconnected this isolation could make some drivers, go watch Martin Scorsese's movie The Taxi Driver, where Robert De Niro plays a taxi driver called Travis Bickle who works 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sound familiar? And then he ends up completely disconnected from society. He's so disconnected, he takes a chick to an adult theater on a first date, then he ends up shaving his fucking head and tries to shoot a politician and ends up shooting his way through a brothel. All I'm saying is the first month or two doing something like this, you'll probably be fine, but once you get to the 8 months, 9 months, 15 months, I can guarantee you will not be the same person as when you started.
You're talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
Like, we've all talked to a driver before while we're waiting for food, and what's the best way to say it? They've had a few screws loose in their head. And then can you imagine putting the types of hours and this kind of lifestyle onto them? What do you think would happen to them? Let me know in the comments if you've had an encounter with a driver like that. But pulling it all back in, can you earn $150,000 a year doing delivery driving? Probably. But you are going to lose half of it in costs to get there and taxes, and your life will take a battering from it. So if you're still like, fuck it dude, I want the money, just go in for time frame and an exit plan. And the exit plan could be as simple as something like, after 1 year, I will drop back to 40 or 50 hours per week. Or you just do it to hit a financial goal and then move on to something else. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, spending close to every waking hour doing delivery driving for the next 10 years of their lives. But leave your thoughts, guys, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Would you do the 100-hour weeks for that kind of money? Have you had some tough times alone in your car? It's just you, isolated. How'd you get through it? And if you did do 100 hours a week, what would you spend the money on? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.